Good afternoon. I think we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you all for coming to our January PeADD board meeting. We're going to call the meeting to order, and we have Judge Jack Whitfield that's going to lead us in our pledge, and then following is Judge Todd Mansfield with our invitation.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We need to approve our minutes from our last meeting. They were in the packet, and then also have a motion. Can I get a second? Second? Okay. All those in favor?
Mayor Green. With the motion.
Oh, sorry.
Judge
Judge
Gruber
Gruber.
with the second.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. We have our we had our audit, and Auditor Mike Harmon from the state is going to present our audit.
Come up here and make sure this is turned on.
All right, sounds like we're good. How's everybody doing today? All right, well, thank you all for having us here today. It's an honor to come and talk about your all's audit. Those who know me know I always like to, before I get too deep in, I always like to start with something funny. And so I want to tell you a little bit about, there was this Kentucky girl, and she fell in love with an Indiana boy. And she calls up her dad and says, "Daddy, I am in love with Clarence." He said, "Clarence?" Said, "Isn't he from Indiana?" He said, "Yes, sir, he is." Said, "I don't want you marrying any Indiana boys. I hear they're mean. Sometimes they throw chairs." That's an old Bobby Knight reference for some of y'all. But you know how little girls are. I got two of them, and they got daddy wrapped around her finger. So she goes ahead and she gets married. And 2 years later, she calls up and says, "Daddy, you're right. Clarence being mean to me." He said, "Don't you worry. I'll grab you two big brothers. We'll take care of Clarence." So they hop in the car. They drive up to Louisville, and Dad drives across the bridge to Indiana. But as soon as he gets across, he turns around and starts heading right back. And the two brothers says, Daddy, aren't we going to help Sissy?" He said, "Boys, I'd love to. Didn't you see that sign we crossed the bridge? Clarence, 11'7". I'm sorry. Now, I tell that to our new auditors. I tell them, make sure you get the right information, but now, first and foremost today, certainly I want to express my thanks and appreciation to you all and the leadership with the other 14 area development districts and partnering with our office and others to increase transparency and accountability at the ads and to those that we serve and that you all serve. Now, following a 2014 special examination of the Bluegrass Area Development District by the prior state auditor, the auditor's office started getting requests and bills were filed by legislators that would have called for special examinations of all the ads. That would have been, of course, been very expensive for the ads and been problematic for our office just from the standpoint of having the resources. It would create a challenge for us. So by 2017, there was a push from the business community in addition to legislators for more oversight of ads. And my office got involved to help bring together all the stakeholders to come up with a bill that would both increase transparency as well as provide assurances to legislators and to the public without overburdening the auditor's office or adding major new costs and requirements for the ads. We felt like that was very important. Now, during the 2017 regular session, that work led to House Bill 189, which was sponsored by former Representative Jim DeSestri of Bowling Green and a former Representative Susan Westrom of Lexington, which passed both the House and the Senate unanimously and was signed into law. Now, House Bill 189 was a result of cooperation by many organizations, and the final bill was supported by the Auditor's Office, the Kentucky Council of Area Development Districts, the Kentucky Chamber of Commerce, Commerce Lexington, and other chamber organizations. So it all came together. Instead of adding new requirements for additional audits or special exams, House Bill 189 gave my office a right of first refusal to conduct each of the ADD's annual financial statement audits, which is the same process that we use for our fiscal court audits. Now, we also have the ability to review audits of the ADDs conducted by outside accounting firms both before and after the audits are released to ensure all 15 districts are being audited consistently and appropriately. Now, this review process also gives my office an effective way to determine if there are any red flags. So it allows us the opportunity to see if there's any type of red flags or areas of concerns that aren't being addressed currently by the CPAs. Now, as you may recall, my office made a commitment. We made a commitment very early on that we were not going to have our office do the audits for the first couple of years so that we can kind of all get in cycle. And instead, we continued to let CPAs do all the audits for a couple of years and used our review process to work with the ADD directors and finance officers and with your CPAs to move all ADDs to a more consistent correct and consistent reporting framework for your audits. It just allowed us to kind of get all on one page. Now, in late 2021, we began utilizing our auditing staff to conduct audits, and we selected the very first one we selected was the Barren River Area Development District and the Green River Area Development as the first two ADDs audited by our office under the new law. Now, those two ADDs received audits for fiscal year 2021. For fiscal year 2022, PeADD was one of the two area development districts selected to be audited by my office. The Cumberland Valley Area Development District, which covers southeastern Kentucky, was the other district that was selected for audit by our office. Now, I want to take this opportunity to thank the leadership of PeADD, Executive Director Jason Benson, Chief Financial Officer Alicia Sutton, along with all the program directors and staff at PeADD for their cooperation. In addition, I also want to thank and express my appreciation of staff who's worked very diligently and hard on this, and appreciate your all's cooperation. I know they've enjoyed the process, and I know you all have enjoyed it as well. And of course, now the point that everybody's waiting for, I'm happy to inform you that based on our audit that PeADD received a clean opinion on their financial statements and on compliance requirements of the major federal programs tested in the single audit. It's a great job. Also, PeADD had no reportable findings in the audit report. So once again, great job. Appreciate the hard work that you all have done. Now, the audit process always works best when it's a cooperative effort between the ADDs and my office. And if past history is any indication in the eyes of the public and the legislature, it provides a much higher level of assurance when they know that the state auditor's office has done an audit. So I think everyone will benefit in the long run from the APA being engaged in doing these ADD audits each year. Now, Kentucky's area development districts have and continue to serve a valuable role for this Commonwealth. Very appreciative of the great role that you all take on. Our goal is a common one: to serve our fellow Kentuckians in a matter with the highest accountability and transparency possible. And I know in all my conversations, you all feel the same. So that equates to what has become the motto of my office, which is follow the data. When I first got in the office, I told everybody we don't target anyone. We don't give anybody a pass. Bless you, by the way. We don't target anyone. We don't give anybody a pass. We just simply follow the data. Now, we can accomplish good government best when we work together. And I believe that the results of House Bill 189 are a great example of the working together to increase transparency and public confidence. Now, certainly, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. And again, once again, I appreciate the opportunity to present today. Thank you all. God bless. And we just appreciate the great work that you all do. Thank you all.
Thank you, Auditor Honren and team. Does anybody have any questions? We need a motion to approve the audit.
Motion approved.
Mr. Auditor, I might just add that the individual that was treasurer during that time is sitting next to me, did a very fine job. And the one that I believe is going to be nominated for treasurer today has a beach scene behind him right now. So I'm not sure how that's going to play out, but we got it done this year. That's right.
I think I did something wrong. I was not ever at the beach, but anyways, okay, so we got a motion and a second. All right, all those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next, we have the installation of officers. I'm gonna ask Bart Frazier, the chairman of the nominating committee, to come forward and give the report.
Good afternoon. At the January 6, 2023 PeADD nominating committee meeting, the committee voted unanimously for the following individuals to serve as officers for a 2-year term beginning January 1st, 2023. The chair is Ms. Chrissy Carter from Livingston County, vice chair, Judge Todd Mansfield from Todd County. The secretary would be Judge Coda Young from Caldwell County, and treasurer would be Panama Jack Kevin Cotton, Madisonville. Are there any nominations from the floor that would be any different from what I just presented? Okay, well, if not, I would make this report in the form of a motion and ask the full board to take action quickly so he can get back to the bar.
We need a second. Okay. All those in favor? Any opposed?
And
Motion
at
carries.
this time, would Judge Perry Newcomb come forward to administer the oath of office to officially install these individuals? Thank you.
Yes, sir. Unfortunately, Mayor Cotton didn't get his request for a change of venue for this meeting into everyone in time, or we'd all be sitting down here probably, you know. I think this is a first, swearing in an officer from a different state. We'll make our way through this, so. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would raise your right hand, please. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky, so long as I continue a citizen thereof, and that I will faithfully execute to the best of my ability the offices of Chairman, Vice Secretary, and Treasurer as of the PeADD Area Development District Law. And I do further solemnly swear that the adoption of the present Constitution, I being a citizen of this state, not cause duel with deadly weapons, nor out of it, nor have I sent or accepted a challenge either duel with deadly weapons, nor have I acted as a second in carrying a challenge, nor aided or assisted any person thus offended. So I do. Thank you all.
Next, we have our federal and state reports. Morgan Albee from Senator McConnell's office.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just want to say happy New Year to everyone. I have several updates since the last one I provided last month. There was a lot of activity toward the end of the month. But first, I want to say that last week when the new Congress convened, that Senator McConnell set the record for the longest serving party leader. Very, very excited for that milestone for him. Several items of interest from several bills that passed toward the end of December that I want to point out. The National Defense Authorization Act, which I know is always important to this area with Fort Campbell, the Water Resources Development Act. I don't see Amanda Davenport, but I know that there was one provision in there as it related to the Eddyville River Port regarding the sale of an Army Corps piece of property to the Eddyville River Port to allow for expansion opportunities. So we were happy to be able to get that, to help get that included in that bill. And then also with the omnibus appropriations bill that passed, a few items of note that I want to highlight that were in that bill of interest to the penny Ryle. One would be there was $135 million to complete the renovation of the Vietnam era Villar Barracks at Fort Campbell. That has been one of their top priorities for years. And so Senator McConnell was happy to be able to secure that provision to finally get that project completed. There were $38 million to continue Asian carp eradication efforts, which I know is something former Judge Wade White has worked really hard on over the years with our office. And then also on the subject of Judge White, I feel like I've got his name mentioned several times. But another item that was in that omnibus was the Land Between the Lakes Recreation and Heritage Act. That truly was a local group effort from Lyon, Trigg counties, various individuals there, working with Congressman Comer's office on that effort throughout last year. And we were happy to be able to get that included in that bill. And then finally, I do want to mention that Judge White was confirmed to his seat on the Tennessee Valley Authority Board. So really excited to have him sitting on that board. The senator recommended him to the president for that position. So happy that he is now officially confirmed. I know there's a few new faces, so I look forward to working with all of you. Don't hesitate to reach out if our office can ever be of assistance. Thank you.
Thanks, Morgan. Next, I think on Zoom, we have Jason Hassert with Senator Paul's office.
Hello, happy New Year to everyone. Senator Paul is looking forward to a new session in the Senate and want to congratulate all the newly elected officials and re-elected officials in the new term here in the state and locally. One of Senator Paul's priority is he would like to speak with each of our judges and mayors on economic development that you're looking at for your community in the new year, and also any energy projects or concerns. The senator was very concerned and somewhat disappointed in the power outages that happened during the cold freeze over the Christmas and New Year holiday, and wants to make sure that things like that are not happening in the future, and that we continue to support definitely coal power generation here in Kentucky. But those are two of the senator's priorities, and I'm looking forward to working with anyone, and please contact myself or the senator anytime. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason. Next, we have Alex with Congressman Comer's office. Oh, Austin, I'm sorry.
Usually it's Corey Elder up here gets to do it, but Corey has some other business to take care of today, so I'm taking in his place, but I'm glad to be here. My name is Austin Weatherington. I work for Congressman Comer's office. We finally have a Speaker of the House, so finally Congressman Comer can get to work. And I know some of the things that Congressman Comer has been working in DC over the past couple of weeks have been reforms that him and Congressman Jim Jordan have negotiated with House leadership to enact changes to help hold Congress, help them, the bureaucrats there be held liable and financially responsible and as well. And if you haven't seen Congressman Comer's floor speech, I would highly recommend that you look at it. He is focused on fixing the logjam that DC has become, and these reforms are a good step in the right direction to help do that. Congressman Comer has been on the airwaves saying that the unchecked destructive paths paved by the Biden administration is finally coming to an end. And Congressman Comer has stressed as chairman of the House Oversight Committee, he is prepared to get answers for the American people and hold President Biden accountable. And he stated that the House Republicans will make efforts to also balance the budget and stop unchecked spending by Democrats. Another thing that Morgan had mentioned is the land between the lakes. That's one of Kentucky's crown jewels and an extraordinary legacy to be taken care of and shared with generations to come. So Congressman Comer and Senator McConnell share that legislation of the Land Between the Lakes and Recreation and Heritage Act, and that will help improve funding and maintenance for a long list of issues facing LBL. And these national issues all have a direct impact on part of rural Kentucky, from the drugs of flooding that are flooding in through our interstates to the dramatic inflation rates that have been caused by unchecked government spending. Congressman Comer is going to be asking the tough questions on his oversight committee, so be sure to check in on those hearings as well. And it truly is a new day in DC, and Congressman Comer looks forward to the many legislative opportunities we will have to improve our region. And please reach out to Corey and I on any bills or issues that you are having. And we look forward to hearing from you. And Congressman Comer looks forward to hearing from his constituents and being your voice in this new Congress. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Austin. I'm sorry. And next from Congressman Guthrie's office, we have Mark Ford.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here today on behalf of Congressman Guthrie. So you're probably not used to hearing from us, but through the change that we've gone through with redistricting, the second district is now in the PeADD Area Development District with pickup of Muhlenberg County. So want to come in and say hello on behalf of Congressman Guthrie, and looking forward to engaging with the PeADD staff on so many different types of issues with the community development area development area agency. Sorry, I'm fumbling my term. Thank you. I can't spit out my words. But it's a pleasure to be with you and work together with you going forward. Jason, thank you for flagging that the meeting was taking place today. Glad to have the opportunity here. So look forward to having Congressman Guthrie come back to be with you and to be with our folks in Muhlenberg County. We're looking forward to engaging with official staff now. I'll be Congressman Guthrie's point person for Muhlenberg County. I serve as a district director, so I cover several other parts of the district as well. But the Comer and Guthrie districts kind of switched out a little bit, Austin. We picked up some of the districts from some of the counties from the second district over in the eastern side, and we're going west a little bit and picking up some new counties and now picking up Muhlenberg. So it's a thrill for us to be a part of that. You know, your House delegation, you're already pretty familiar with the leadership of our senators, but if you're not aware, as you look across the state, you see the rising positions that your House members are taking. Austin described Congressman Comer's leadership in oversight and investigations that's coming up. Congressman Guthrie will be the incoming chairman of the Health Subcommittee, so he'll be shaping a lot of legislation going forward in the future of healthcare and cost delivery. Looking back again, have jurisdiction on pandemic preparedness and our response in the past, but also being prepared for future types of issues there. Drug costs, those kinds of things are going to be in his jurisdiction going forward, as well as energy and other things related to energy and commerce. But Congressman Barr in the Bluegrass area is taking leadership role in the Financial Services Committee, and of course Congressman Rogers, and no doubt had a long history in appropriations. So just a lot of leadership there. So anyway, we want to be helpful to all things that we share the same mission for, trying to help our common constituents all around. And the Guthrie team will look forward to engaging, especially in Muhlenberg County going forward. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mark. And then we have State Representative Walker Thomas.
Appreciate y'all having me. I'm so glad to be here. I know I'm the only state rep and state senator here. I got to get on my cohorts to see where they are and stuff. So we got some changes up there also. I think Wade Williams, look forward to working with him. I was thinking he might be able to make it today, but I'm sure he got tied up and things. So right now we're in our short session. What that means on odd years, we only do a 30-day session. We have just completed our first week, got back Friday. The only thing that's really we've moved is something probably very important to all y'all is lowering the income tax rate. And we were able to pass that out of the House. It's now over in the Senate. They're going to wait and take it up in February when we get back on February 7th. But that lowers the income tax to 4.5% starting this year. And we've already put it in motion for 4% for next year in 2024. So I think it passed pretty much on party lines in the House, and we'll see what it does over in the Senate. We also passed Veterans Center, some funding for them up in Bowling Green. We're trying to build a veterans nursing home up there. And of course, as you know, and many of y'all know by being judges and mayors and stuff, you can bid something out 2 years ago, and it's a lot more right now than it was then. That was a little bit of a gap of $16 million that we were able to pull from some EV charging station money that we did not use and moved it over. And we're going to help get that VA center out underway. So with that, like I said, I don't think we're going to move a lot of legislation this year, but who knows? It's a short session, and leadership has expressed an interest not to pass 200 bills like we did a couple of years ago in COVID. So appreciate you being here and appreciate you letting me serve. And if there's anything I can do, please reach out. Thanks.
Thank you, Representative Walker. Next, from our governor's office, we have Alex Caudle.
Austin's calling Congressman Comer now to see if I can go work for him too. So, we'll pull double duty. It'll be all right. We're on the same team. So Happy New Year, everybody. I really don't have much to share. I'll yield my time to Martha Jane and Doug Taylor as well. But we do have a couple of grant programs coming up to make you aware, the Land and Water Conservation Fund and the Recreational Trails Programs. Those deadlines are May 31st if you want to apply for either of those. So keep us posted if you have any applications pending. I'm sure some of you have already talked to Amy and her wonderful staff about those projects. And then CDBG programs, the deadline is at the end of the month for those as well. So if you ever have any questions or need anything from DLG, then we're happy to help. So thank you.
Thanks, Alex. And then Martha Jane King from our governor's office.
See, PeADD so important. There has to be two of us,
That's right.
along with two congressmen. Want to say congratulations to all the newly elected officials. We got as always, a little bit of shuffle up, so it takes a few minutes for us to get to know everybody. If you didn't watch Governor Beshear's State of the Commonwealth address, please do so. He has doubled down, of course, on the things that he is interested in. One of those number one things is the fact that we have 11,000 jobs that we need to fill in education. And that is a lot. And that impacts everybody in this room. You may not be a teacher. If you've got children, your community, it makes a big difference. And so the governor is advocating for a 5% increase for teachers, which I think they well deserve. My mother-in-law is 99 and taught for 38 years, and she said she's for it. So everybody needs to listen to her. She'd be the advocate. On another note, the Federal Communications Commission has released a draft of the national broadband map, and the governor's urging everybody to please go in and look at that map. Whoever is underserved will get more funding. But unfortunately, the deadline for that is January the 13th. So if you have not done that, please go and do so. You'll see these little circles that say you have service, you have service. And a lot of us that live in rural Kentucky know that that is wrong. Y'all pardon me, my allergies are really acting up and I'm doing this. I'm very proud in Muhlenberg County. We did the Double D announcement that created 200 jobs. And the main thing I like the best about it is they took a vacant how big is it? 300,000 building and put a business there. and made it local. And the gentleman that's doing it is moving here. You cannot get any better than that when it comes to community development. And on that note, Alex already said about the deadlines on the 21st for the CDBG. And at that, I have nothing else to add, and thank you. I appreciate working with you all for this next year.
Thank you. From the Transportation Cabinet, we have Doug Taylor.
Transporting slowly. Good morning, good afternoon, excuse me. To the Newly County and local elected officials here today. I think I've reached out to most of you about offering any type of kind of a short training session in any way. If we haven't already spoken, see me afterwards. I'd be more than happy to help you do that. To some of you who are not newly elected, but have some new magistrates or city council members, and you would like for them to be better educated about how the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet supports and works with the local governments for the local needs, just reach out to me on that too, and I would be happy to give you some hands-on training and come by your offices. The final thing I'll share with you, the only real thing that's happening right now, if you participate in the cooperative program, all counties do, the majority of the cities here I see represented do too, you should expect your stipend for the second draw to be showing up somewhere around late January, early February. Be prepared for that. If you don't see it, contact me. We'll figure out where it's at and get it back to you. Also for counties, as we're approaching February, you usually expect somebody from your district office to come by about your flex funds. You can prepare for roughly the same amount of money that you had last year. There's not been any real great changes, maybe a couple $100, few thousand maybe, but in general, it'll be about the same amount of money. It always works better if you're prepared when you get that number and you can get it into us quickly for evaluation. That way we can get it in the spring paving season for you. As always, if you got any questions, I'm available afterwards and moving kind of slow, so I ought to be able to easy caught today. So thank you very much today.
Thank you, Doug. And then we have Chris Woolbridge from Murray State University. Chris, would you like to say anything? Thank you, Chris. We will move into the staff reports. First up, we have Amy Frobe with Community and Economic Development.
I should have just given Alex my notes and he could have done this for me. Welcome to all the new faces in the room and welcome back to our familiar faces as well. I just want to take a few minutes of your time this afternoon to run through some current funding opportunities that are available and then put some on your radar for the upcoming spring season. As Alex mentioned, the Land and Water Conservation Fund application period is open. These are funds that can be used to develop or renovate public outdoor recreation facilities. And this includes projects such as playground equipment, the development or improvement of sports fields, and the improvement or building of concessions and restroom facilities. This is a 50-50 matching reimbursement grant, and that match for this program can be used as in-kind or cash. Minimum application of $25,000 with a maximum of $250,000. Similarly, the Recreational Trails Program, these funds can be used to develop or maintain both non-motorized and motorized trails. This includes walking or running trails, bicycle trails, ATV trails, and then also trailhead facilities. It can also provide items to enhance existing trails such as benches, trash bins, or things of that nature. This one is an 80-20 matching reimbursement grant. Your match can be in kind or cash on that program as well. And the same minimum and maximum application thresholds do apply. Both of these programs do require that the land be deed restricted for recreational purposes. And again, those application deadlines are May 31st of this year. The award announcements from the 2022 program cycle have not yet happened. But if your community submitted an application last year, we do anticipate those announcements. Maybe Alex or Martha Jane can provide some insight there. We do anticipate those announcements coming out before the application deadline of May 31st. The recycling and household hazardous waste applications are currently available as well. The recycling projects can include recycling trailers and other equipment to process recyclables. This is a 75-25 matching reimbursement program as well. And these applications are due on April the 3rd. Again, your match can be in kind for these programs. Crumb rubber, similarly, these are projects that promote the use of waste tires from Kentucky. And that can be landscaping mulch, poured in place surfacing for your walking trails or playgrounds, tree wells, and other projects that use Kentucky recycled tires. This is also a 75-25 matching grant, and it's due on April the 3rd as well. We have the Kentucky 911 Services Board grant. These are grants specifically for your 911 dispatch centers. It can include geospatial and mapping projects, new and improved 911 PSAP support, equipment, or host and remote projects. There's currently not a match required for that program, but it is encouraged to elevate your application status. And these applications, we don't have a hard deadline, but they are typically due around March 31st. The Kentucky Department of Libraries and Archives has a local records grant program, and this is funding to assist local governments with records management, including digitization, security microfilming, supplies and equipment, salary support, or records conservation. I know many of our clerks' offices in the region have taken advantage of these grant funds recently. Those applications will be due on March the 10th. Now, this program does require procurement on the front end to be submitted with the application, so please keep that in mind for timing purposes as March 10th approaches. And then the final one for the current opportunities is the Assistance to Firefighters Grant. And this is funding for our volunteer fire departments and our non-affiliated EMS agencies to provide funding for equipment and training. It is a 75-25 matching grant as well. And the application period opened today and typically runs for a 30-day period, making those due on February the 10th. FEMA does currently have some workshops available that will be running through January the 20th. Our staff has attended a few of those and said that they are really helpful. So please let us know if you would like some more information on those workshops. Some other programs that will be becoming available in the spring, just to put on your radar, the Kentucky Homeland Security Grant. These are grants that assist your local government and your first responders in activities that build, sustain, and deliver capabilities necessary to respond to acts of terrorism. The Rubber Modified Asphalt Grant are projects that promote and assess the benefits of using recycled Kentucky waste tires and rubber modified asphalt. We just completed a project here in Christian County out on Whitty Lane. And what they did, they took rubber modified asphalt and paved half of the road and then used traditional asphalt to pave the other half of the road. And the goal of that is to see which one over time holds up better. As Alex mentioned, Community Development Block Grant, the 2022 cycle ends at the end of this month, but the 2023 cycle will open in the March or April timeframe and will end in the fall. Those are quite extensive applications to put together. So if you have any projects related to housing, public facilities, water, sewer, gas, community projects such as senior centers, fire stations, health departments, things of that nature, or any economic development projects, please let us know as soon as possible if you're interested in applying there. CDBG disaster recovery. These are funds that have been made available to Kentucky as a result of the tornadoes that occurred in December of 2021. That application should be released around the same time, around March or April. They are going to have a focus on housing and infrastructure projects, specifically in those areas that were the most impacted. And then the Delta Regional Authority application period will also open in the March and April timeframe. These are projects that focus on public infrastructure, transportation infrastructure, business development, and workforce development. All of these programs that I've talked about have a certain time-sensitive requirements. So please let us know. You can talk to any of our community and economic development staff if you're interested in applying for any of these programs. And then finally, just some dates to remember: our 2023 county budget workshops that are presented by Department for Local Government. They are scheduled for February 24th here at the PeADD office, or you can attend at the PurchaseADD or Barren River Ad on the 23rd or 22nd if you can't make it on the 24th. Those will be from 9 to 12. And then the Kentucky Office of Broadband is hosting a listening session here at our office on February the 14th. This is a partnership with them to get some community engagement for their newly developed PeADD, and that's Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Program. They are basically trying to devise a plan to spend the infrastructure dollars, the federal infrastructure dollars that they received, in order to get broadband access out to every Kentuckian. So please help us spread the word. They're wanting input from all sectors, including local leaders, community partners, education, healthcare, to attend those meetings and give input. I know I've gone through that very quickly. Are there any questions? Right, thank you.
I may just also add, especially for our new folks in the room, each month we put together our newsletter called PeADD Press. Keep an eye on this because it will have new grant opportunities in there, those that are available right now. And then as new grant opportunities come available, we will put those in our newsletter as well. So every month, take a look at this. There's always a lot of good information into it, not only about community and economic development, but all of our programs we have here at the PeADD. So just know that there's always good information in there about those grant opportunities.
All right, thank you, Amy. And then next, with our Area Agency on Aging and Independent Living, Ms. Jill Collins.
Good afternoon, everyone, and Happy New Year. I'm going to talk just briefly about our expanded senior meal program. This year, we were able to receive $1.5 million in additional funds to help address our home delivered meal waiting list. Legislator appropriated some additional funds for our meal program, and so I'm going to talk just a little bit about that. As you know, we've had a long waiting list for home delivered meals for many years. During COVID, we received some additional COVID dollars that helped to support those meals for a period of time. When those dollars were gone, then some of those individuals had to go back on a wait list. And so the expanded senior meal program is helping us to address that need for those individuals that are on the wait list. You can see on this graph here, since August, we've had a gradual increase in the number of assessments that we've been able to complete on the individuals that were on our wait list. We've also been able to bring on additional staff in our department to conduct those assessments on the individuals that need the home delivered meal. They do have to meet criteria, and so there is an assessment that is conducted to determine eligibility. This next slide, you can see how we've been successful in being able to decrease the number of individuals that are on the wait list. I don't know how well you can see this, but you can see we started with around 463 individuals in August, and as of the end of December, we've been able to get that list down to 285 through the assessments that we've been able to complete and provide those meals to the individuals. 233 assessments have been completed as of December the 31st. There were 221 individuals that were actually removed from the wait list due to either ineligibility or no longer needing that service. They may have, condition may have improved, or they may have had a support system to move into the home that can help provide that meal for them. I will note that our wait list does continue to fluctuate every week and even every month because we do receive phone calls and referrals every day for individuals that are looking for a home delivered meal. And right now we're receiving between 40 and 50 requests per month for individuals who are looking for a home delivered meal. The individuals are placed on our list to be assessed, but they're not placed on the list based on first come, first served. They are assigned a priority score based on their level of need. So we are addressing those needs based on who has the higher score. We've also been able to purchase some equipment as we've added more meals to the program. Our provider packs has had the need for additional supplies. So we've also been able to help them purchase new digital thermometers, Cambros, which are the big coolers that we transport the meals in for our home delivered meal program, and new steam tables for our senior centers. So if anyone has any questions about our meal program, eligibility, what criteria they have to meet to receive a meal, be sure to let us know and we can help you with that. But we're excited. We do think this expanded senior meal program, these additional dollars will be with us through fiscal year 24. And we're very hopeful that this will put a great dent, if not completely allow us to serve everyone in our district that needs that meal. So thank you.
Thank you, Jill. And then we have Sheila Clark with the West Kentucky Workforce Board.
We just wanted to highlight a few pieces for you. I always forget to do that. A few pieces for you today. If you take back up the newsletter that Jason was showing you a few minutes ago, you'll see a whole page there on workforce that Melissa had rounded up all of our pieces of information and put it on that page. And one of the items that we wanted to bring to your attention is while we're here today, we have Secretary Jamie Link of the Education and Labor Cabinet, who is at Fort Campbell in a meeting. And Tom Scholler and Derek Poor had taken him down there today to get him through the gate quickly. And he's looking at some of the job opportunities and sharing those that Kentucky's building with the Blue Oval Project and other projects in our region as well. But you'll see there's employment fairs ongoing at Fort Campbell. Every Wednesday morning, there is a job fair at Fort Campbell. Also some activities on Thursday morning in that arena, and Derek can help get you into those activities. And then the secretary will be coming back here around 2 o'clock or so. So if someone wants to stay and meet Secretary Link, if you haven't, then we'd be happy to have you and introduce you to him. He's going to be staying with us for a few minutes for some conversations today. Also in your package, you normally find information about the labor snapshot. And sometimes the days of the month may fall where we get more information or less, depending on when those reports come out from the state. But there is a data center at the state that does release those reports, and you'll find those normally in your packet. One of the things that we are trying to promote right now is the opportunities that we have for giving individuals a fair chance at employment or second chance at employment. We have companies that are willing to hire individuals that may have a background check that doesn't come out as clean and squeaky as they would like to. And the Kentucky Chamber has a special fair chance activity that employers can attend. And we've been working with the Kentucky Chamber and the Christian County Chamber and doing that. And Taylor Hayes, if you'd like to say a few words to us about that upcoming event.
Yeah, got a flyer in your packet about this fair chance. Kentucky Chamber has been doing some research over the last 4 to 5 years, and they really got the business community behind this effort. They have seen that when an individual has a substance abuse disorder or they've run into some problems earlier in life and they have not been able to get that squeaky background check clean, that when they get in an environment where they have a good job, a steady job, making a decent wage, and their employer is flexible enough to understand that sometimes they have some fallbacks and so forth, but they see that they get on a good, productive path in life, that they become a better community citizen. And so we're having a forum in partnership with the West Kentucky Workforce Board, Murray State, Hopkinsville Community College, and the Kentucky Workforce Center. We're all partnering together to have this forum to help employers, business, from private business to civic organizations, even public organizations, better understand the kind of environment it takes to allow these people to work in your organization. We have a number of fair chance employers right here in Christian County who have some remarkable stories that they've made a difference, both for the employer as well as the individual. So this is good for the workforce. So it's a free forum. Just go to christiancountychamber.com and you can sign up to register, but it is free. And it's January 26th from 7:30 to 10 at Hopkinsville Community College.
And
Thank
we have
you.
a good crowd, I think, that's already registered.
Yeah,
for
we've
it.
got about 20 or so people already registered for this.
Thank you, Taylor. We appreciate that partnership. And we have had several expungement events in some of the counties. I think that was mentioned earlier. We have done different sponsorships for those events, trying to get individual assistance for a person to go back and clear their record. So they will have an opportunity to be a part of our workforce in a way that can really help with our new industries and expanding current industries. So we do appreciate that. Another thing I wanted to touch on before I leave you is I know that Jason is planning a training session for our local officials, and we'll be telling you a lot more about workforce activities during that. But one thing I just wanted to alert you to, that we'll probably be sending out an email from either myself or Cindy Massey to tell you about that. Your first activity that we'll probably be looking at is we need to elect a chief local official among the group. And that is when all of our judges come together and select one of our judges to represent them in workforce activities. And we'll try to make that event probably in February. We'll let you know about that. And we'll try to have a vote that everyone can participate in. And we'll be talking to you about perhaps some possibilities there of individuals we may get to volunteer for that situation. So that's something you'll be hearing a little more about, the chief local elected official under the workforce programs. If there's no questions this morning, Madam Chair, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Sheila. Okay, we'll move to our new business.